Hello, my name's Leena and today we're going back in time, whoa, to when I was about to turn 30. I am turning 35 this year, and something very unique about me by accident is that going into my 30s, I made a 40 before 40 list, like 40 things I wanted to do before I was 40, just before the pandemic hit, literally weeks. And that is really interesting to me because I think if I had made the 40 before 40 list after that, I mean, would I even have made it? I would just be like, look, I just want to survive the week. Leave me alone. But if I had made it, it might have had some different things on it. I think the pandemic changed a little bit about the way I think, and it's quite nice to have this preserved. It's not even optimistic, because I'm optimistic now, but I just think I know a lot more about the world. But this preserved capsule of what I thought my 30s should contain just before I turned it. Now, this version of Leena also thought that she was going to have a 30th birthday party. It's fine, I'm going to have a big 40th birthday party. And I just thought it'd be interesting to sit with you and go through my 40 for 40 list, see what I have actually achieved so far, and if I actually even agree with what little 30-year-old Leena thought her 30s should contain. Now, another thing to note, I think, is that your 30s is when your life starts to look quite different from your friends, especially if you are child-free like me. A lot of your friends follow a certain path that your life doesn't, and there's not that many blueprints for what your 30s looks like, especially as a woman, if you don't have kids. And I wrote in this is my diary where I originally wrote the list. I wrote, I recognise how redundant these are, but just for fun. Now I know myself more, can I be more accurate in what I might want? Like versus probably like doing resolutions before this point. I can't really picture my 30s. Maybe this will help. So I'd forgotten that that was actually the motivation for making this list, was to help me be able to picture my 30s and what I should even be doing with them. So I thought you might want to join me as I tick things off the list, maybe change some of my goals, and think yourself about what your preconceptions of the decade you're currently in are and whether they're genuinely things that you want. So without further ado, let's tune in to 2020, innocent, pure, optimistic Leena.
So in honour of me turning 30 years old.
There's no need for that. The gall, the gumption, the utter barefaced rudeness.
Number 1, live away from London for a chunk of time, just to see.
Live away from London. Past Leena, you're going to be hit by a global pandemic in merely weeks. It's going to make you doubt everything, especially if it's worth living in London. You will move away from London for a couple of months to a nice little place in Derby, and then you'll essentially settle not far from where you were born, where, just as your parents learned in the late 80s, things are more affordable. And the most unexpected twist is that you will like it. So that one, I'm ticking off. Weird. I think a lot of the time I just couldn't picture leaving London because my career at this point was in publishing, and at this point most of publishing was in London. Both things have changed. My career is no longer in publishing, although I am writing books and stuff, and I'm working with publishers sometimes, but it's not in publishing. And also publishing has become, like a lot of the big publishers have opened offices in Manchester and other places like that. So really interesting, like, that both aren't true anymore. Next.
Low baller for the second one. Judge a prize, literary or otherwise.
This is such a silly goal because it's actually outside of my control, although it kind of is, because you put yourself in the right places, you have the right conversations, you make sure that you're doing the work visibly that would make you eligible for this. But I was recently asked to be a judge on the British Book Awards, which is something that I'm in the process of doing now. I'm reading the books as we speak. So that one, very excitingly, we can tick off. Although past me, I'm like, don't put stuff on this that is really outside of your control. But I'm glad that that one worked out for you, you jammy little bastard.
It would be like the best book club of all time to read books with other judges, would it not? And an excuse to just constantly read for a few months. What's not to like?
Incredibly optimistic that you think you can just read for a few months and like not work. I'm fitting it around everything else. And then also the fact that it would be a most amazing book club. I think it would, although my judging at this point is just a 2-hour meeting with all of the judges, which I'm really looking forward to when it happens, but it's not like an ongoing process. But I think with like bigger prizes, like the women's prize, you'll have like a WhatsApp group and like an ongoing exchange. But I'm still excited, but so naive that I thought I would just get to read all day. Hilarious.
Number 3, design and orchestrate a walking tour.
This is so interesting because I didn't remember how far back my walking tour obsession went, but I used to go on a lot of walking tours when I was in London, and I didn't realise that I was already aspiring to write my own. But this is something I genuinely like to do. It's just not a priority at the moment, but I do see myself doing that before I'm 40, even if it's just from my friends, showing them around the Midlands and where I live. I think that's such a fun community experiment and thing to do. So I'm not ticking that off, but I agree with that. I'm keeping it.
Make an item of clothing from scratch that I would actually wear.
I love that I thought I'd do this once. I've made this my whole personality at that point. So funny because I didn't think that I thought this would be really hard. I have made a whole video about how it's not actually as hard as I thought it was. In fact, it's much easier than other stuff that people do, like driving or assembling IKEA furniture, the basics anyway. And also I didn't realise how much I would love it, how much my brain thrives under those conditions that I didn't think that it would, which is like precision and mathematics, and I don't know, it's like slightly that, but also just creative. Anyway, over the moon that I've done this. It's proof that you should try things even if you just want to do them once, because you might actually find a little back door to your new life orbit. I'm in the orbit of clothes.
Number 5, genuinely sort out my work-life balance.
I am going to say this is a tick. I still think that I fill my diary with too much stuff, but I do think I'm as good as I'm going to get, given the fact that I think just I'm a chronic, I want to do new stuff kind of person, and a chronic like say yes person. But I think I've found a slight balance to that. Craig might be watching this and cackling because I don't think I have it. Considering what it was in 2020, I think I've really clawed it back. So I'm going to tick that off.
Develop a close bond with a child so I can give back in some way.
I'm going to give this a big tick. There are 3 children of my friends that I see semi-often. I'm talking like every couple of months, and hang out with them, and I think they like me. I'm just going to say it, I think they do. Hannah's child recently said to her that I was his friend and not hers. I think that's an indictment. My other friend's child willingly crawled into my lap the other day and handed me a book and then stared at me expectantly and held my little finger while I read to her. Tick. And then my other friend's child is the oldest and was born during lockdown. And last year I bought him his first calculator and he slept with it like it was a teddy. I think he's bloody hilarious. I really like him. So I think I've done this to a certain extent. And it's also funny that none of my friends had those children when I wrote this resolution, and now they do. That's nice. That's warm. That's fuzzy.
Act in an Amdram play again.
I've done this twice and I really enjoyed it. It is such a time drain. It was really intense. Like the one of them was 3-hour rehearsals for 4 nights a week for 3 months. And that is a huge commitment if you're working a full-time job, but it was also like a ruckus good laugh and very healing for my inner Leena, who secretly wanted to work in the West End and stuff. I really enjoyed this. It's not something I'm pursuing at the moment because I'm really focused on my writing, but I'm really glad I did this one. Tick.
Go to one of the small isles off Britain.
I haven't done this. I don't have a plan to do this, but it might link in with one of my other resolutions that I'm going to talk about later. And I don't feel as urgent about this. I'm like, it would be cool to go to some of the smaller islands off Britain, but I haven't done it and it's just never come up really. Let me know which island I should go to if you know stuff about that and which ones you've had a good time on, because I would still like to do it. I think as a British person, it is absolutely appalling how little of us ever holiday on our own islands. And I think it's probably going to be more sustainable as well. So I'll do it at some point, Leena. Okay.
Actually break up with fast fashion.
I've done this. I'm ticking this off massively. I haven't bought fast fashion in years. I mean, at least 5 years according to this, but I don't remember the last time I even bought socks from them. So that's really exciting. And I've chronicled that journey on this channel. So I'll leave a whole playlist below about that, how I did it and my thoughts about it and the nuances. And it can be a slow process, but I think I've completely, but I don't ever see myself going back, whether that's making my own clothes or buying secondhand. Like I am not interested anymore.
Regularly check my boobs.
My boy. I don't do this. It was more top of the mind because Craig used to work at a breast cancer charity, so we talked about it a lot, and I was like, I should really do that. I don't do that. I did do it for a little bit, and I got into a little groove with it, and then I didn't. I think I should really work on this though, because it is actually genuinely important for people who have boobs. I need to put it in the calendar. Okay, that was a good kick up the arse. Thank you.
I need to like learn the proper technique and then put it in my diary every week and just do it. It's important, especially as I get older. Read all the books by an author besides Myron McFarlane or Stephanie Meyer or Suzanne Collins.
One, those authors just keep writing books, Leena, so you're actually not on top of that anymore. Rude of them. I haven't done this with an author, I don't think. No, that's a lie. I've done that with Sally Rooney. No, I haven't. I think I quit Conversations with Friends halfway through. No, you're more flaky than you realise, Leena. I'm on the way to having done this with both Sarah Moss and Claire Fuller. I think I'm 1 or 2 books off for both of them. So that actually might be a goal that I complete by the end of the year. But also looking back, I should probably pick an author that's dead so that then it's a completable task, because these insolent, productive authors keep writing more books. Although Margaret Atwood's quite old. Maybe, no, we can't think about that. That's too sad. Okay, I'm close to this, so good for me.
Go on a proper cook outdoors camping holiday again. Not.
I haven't done this, but it's not my fault. All my friends that I would go on camping holidays with, who I know like camping and own tents, keep having babies. But we're actually so far through my 30s now that some of them are getting to the point where they've had babies and the babies are now old enough that maybe in a few years they'll be able to leave the babies and come camping with me. Or maybe we camp with the babies? That sounds hard. Not sure, but I'm not blaming myself for this one. And I would like to do it. Craig's an indoor cat. Craig doesn't want to camp, and that is totally his boundary, totally fine. But if you're my friend and you would like to come outdoor, cook outside camping with me, let me know.
Another one, go to Ireland by boat.
I haven't done this. It's really expensive and really hard to do. If you don't have a car and you can't drive to the place where the ferry goes to. I would like to do it, but I've also been informed by a few people that it may be actually worse for the environment to go by ferry because of the kinds of ferry they have between England and Ireland. So we're gonna look into this, but maybe we make a different, more sustainable travel goal. Because I have an Irish passport, I would like to go to Ireland again. I don't like the fact that I have to fly when I do go, which is incredibly rarely. I've become sceptical and jaded about this goal and therefore haven't really worked towards doing it.
Go in a hot air balloon. This has been my dream.
We went in a hot air balloon. It was incredibly admin intensive, and we ended up travelling to the places that the hot air balloon was supposed to go to 4, maybe 5 times, and paying for a hotel to stay overnight, and getting up the next morning and realising that the weather was not perfect and they cancelled the flights. It was incredibly expensive to do. I wouldn't really recommend doing it from a logistical perspective, but it was magical once we were up there. It took us almost 4 years of trying to go, but we did go, and it was really cool. And for some reason, it feels so surreal that it's not actually scary, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that I only really wanted to do this because I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz. I still am, so that's probably why. And it was really magical, but I don't know. I'm glad that I've done it. But I wouldn't be like, everyone should go on a hot air balloon.
Wear a petticoat under my clothes, and ironically, I haven't worn a petticoat under my clothes since my prom.
I've done this many times, and I'm proud of it. And I have styled some of those clothes with you. I have enjoyed it immensely. And I'm glad I did it. It's a little nod to my drama self, my more dramatic, pushing myself to not be embarrassed self, and I respect that. I've done that.
This one won't come as a surprise. Get a book published. Just one.
2! I did 2. I published 2 books, and I would like to publish more. That's nice. Tick that off. Well done me. 2 books!
In my head, 3 years ago, I was like, I'm going to write a book in a year and then I'll get that published and then I'll just become a writer and I can just write all the time. 3 years in, still trying to finish that book. 100,000 words in.
The book that I'm writing during this, still haven't finished that book.
And write for fun still. Even if I manage to find a way to get paid to write, I still want to make time to write for fun.
I am still writing for fun. That's nice. I'm writing mainly poems. I share some of them on my Patreon every month and I enjoy it.
Here's the contentious one. Guys, don't come for me. Become a vegan, or at least a low dairy vegetarian.
I've done this. I am a low dairy vegetarian, and I even wrote in my book about being a half-assed vegan and all the strategies around it. And I think I'm doing pretty freaking well, considering. So I'm proud of that as well.
Go on a canal boat holiday. I'm obsessed with canal boats. I used to want to live on a canal boat before I fell in love with a 6'3" man and realised how expensive mooring fees are. But I'd love to go on a canal boat holiday and just live that life just for a week.
I haven't done this yet, but my parents have got really into it, so I've seen lots of pictures of what it's like to go on a canal boat holiday. But I haven't done this yet. I should do this at some point. That would be nice. Maybe sometime.
Make a proper record of my parents' lives. Written, scrapbook, or audible.
I haven't done this yet, but I have started living closer to my parents, so I see them more and therefore I hear a little bit more about their past lives. And my mum, off her own back, has been sending me a lot more information and pictures of their past lives. So I am getting more of a picture of that, but I wouldn't call it a formal record at this point, but that's nice. I rarely saw my parents when I lived in London, and now I see them lots more. So I think the sentiment there has been fulfilled a little bit, even though it's not completely in fruition yet. And I don't know if it needs, I think I don't know about that one. It's interesting how different my life is now for these goals as well. Like thinking about the sentiment underneath them, not just the thing. Like go on a canal boat holiday as well. Very whimsical, very beautiful. But now I live in the Midlands and I'm near canals all the time. And I see canal boats all the time. And I get to walk up and down canals. And I'm like in that atmosphere more. So I don't think I felt the urgency to actually go on a canal boat holiday because I'm surrounded by it all the time. It doesn't feel as like, all otherworldly as it used to when I lived in London. Even though there are canals in London, but they smell. You don't want to walk down them very much. And also they feel very dangerous to walk around. Anyway, where was I?
Grow your own food and eat it. Even once.
This one's funny because I've actually written here, grow food and eat it even once. This involves getting a garden. Good luck. Wow, roast me, Leena, that's fine. Do you know what's so funny is that I am lucky enough now to have a garden. That is something that I didn't see in my future. But of course, little Leena was about to be locked up for years on end and didn't realise that having your own unfettered access to the outside is kind of key. I was living in a top floor flat with barely opening windows, like the windows only open that much. While I don't actually want to grow my own food anymore because I feel like that's actually too much for my brain to cope with, like plus like making my own clothes and all these other things. I don't even make any food from scratch, so I don't know what business I've got growing it as well. But we also have a lot of, I've learned we have a lot of rats in my area and a lot of pests and people that we don't want coming into our garden, specifically where we live. So actually this is kind of like a little bit more high stakes than I thought it was going to be. And I think maybe I might change this to volunteering at a community garden where they grow food and other stuff like that, or even stuff that's good for the environment, and maybe going to the farmer's market more and buying more local produce would make more sense. But I don't think that I am designed to grow food. I can barely keep a plant alive, which again is something I wrote about in Half-Assed Human. So I get the sentiment behind this one, but I think I would like to change it a little bit because I've learned that actually not all areas are suitable for growing food outside if you want to do it safely and not attract rodents into your life.
Learn to use a safety razor, better for the environment and my wallet.
I have a safety razor. I use it on my legs and my arms when I shave those, but it is not good for the face. And I have to shave my face every day because I have PCOS. So I don't have to shave my face every day. I choose in my gender expression to shave my face every day because I have more testosterone in my body than most people and I can grow a beard. It's not good for that. It's very painful to use any safety razor. I've tried 2 or 3 different kinds on my face. I can't do it. That's okay. I found a sustainable razor that I use that for, and I do use it on the rest of my body, and it's good and it is better for the environment. I am making less plastic waste, so good for everybody. Tick.
But I am scared of chopping my own leg off. Go on a proper, formally organised writing retreat whenever I hit.
I was so close to failing this and being like, oh, I haven't done that. But actually last year, I went on not 1, not 2, but 3 writing retreats. 2 from Arvon, who are brilliant, and I would really recommend their writing retreats. And then 1 I did as a kind gift that Write Within gave me. I went to Machynlleth and I made a reel about it, and it was very wholesome, and I'll leave my little reel about that below. But it was absolutely bloody brilliant, and I'm so glad I did that. But I've done it 3 times. Go me!
Learn a monologue or long poem off by heart.
I tried to do this a lot. I had the Jabberwocky poem as my background on my phone for ages, and I just didn't do it. I even read a book all about how important it is to know things off by heart and learn poetry aloud and how good it is for your brain and your health. And I still haven't done it. I should do that. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. Something something borogroves and the mome wraths outgrave. Beware the jabberwock, my son, the This is not counting as having done it, but you can tell that I'm on my way.
Grow a strong, lasting relationship with Craig.
Tick. Big tick. Big tick. That's all I'll say. Big tick.
Rescue and keep an animal. I grew up with a dog. I miss having dogs around.
I would like to do this at some point. It's not something that we can do at the moment. But also I think the sentiment here is about generally worrying about the safety of animals in general. And I think, one, the fact that I have gone semi-vegan, or is half-assed vegan, or getting towards veganism, but completely meat-free, like very strict on the vegetarianism, has kind of fulfilled that sentiment for me a little bit. And the fact that I kind of want to help the wild animals in my area as well. I think that is as important as rescuing abandoned pets. And I think that maybe I might swap this out for a goal like that, rather than having to have the animal in my own house and then having to like arrange for it to be cared for, or if I want to go and have an adventure or go on a writing retreat or do something. And you know, I don't really think either of us are at that place now where we like spontaneously just going out, and I don't know if I want that as much as I thought I did. Fair.
Learn 5 recipes from memory. Sounds doable, but didn't achieve that in my 20s. So let's see if my 30s bring that wisdom.
So far, not. We do have a list of regular meals that we make on the fridge, and that's good, but I wouldn't by no means call them recipes. I don't know. Is this important? Yes, probably. It's definitely been good for the veganism. I definitely probably can do 3 recipes off by heart, so I think I'm getting there. But you know, the word recipe feels a little grand for what I do when I make food and prepare it to be eaten.
Earn a living from being creative. I'm definitely on the path to that.
Yes, you did that. You did this by August. Good going, mini Leena. That's the thing. That's been done. It might not last forever, but I have been doing it for the last 4 to 5 years. That's great.
Set up and understand an independent pension. I originally wrote set up a pension, and then I added and understand the pension that you have bought, because I know that's something that I won't.
I have a pension. Don't worry about me. Is it an independent, well-researched, perfectly understood pension? No, I should do that. By 35. We'll do that by May. Promise.
Okay, this is another one. Learn to take a decent self-portrait of yourself on DSLR.
I was able to do this pretty fast because of the pandemic. I was locked in, so I took some pictures. This is actually not in my flat. I was also cat sitting for a friend who got stuck in New Zealand because of the pandemic. So I took these pictures in her flat and a few in my flat, and I enjoyed the process of it, and I do think I can tick this off, but I don't really... Also, Craig takes way better pictures of me than I could take of myself, so I really think that if you can't take good pictures of yourself, get together with a photographer. So I've done this, but I'm glad that I've ticked it off, but I don't think it was particularly illuminating or anything as deep as I thought it was going to be honest.
I've never seen a picture of me that I think accurately, completely reflects how I feel about myself.
I want to interject and be like, I get what past me is trying to say, but I've also unpacked the fact that you can never really look like yourself, and that's okay. Again, I wrote about this in Half-Assed Human in the Bodies chapter. The idea that you can look like yourself in a picture, or there's a piece of clothing or a thing that will make you look like you, I think I've become skeptical about the premise of this resolution, and that's why I'm kind of okay with being like, the pictures that you took of yourself you are happy with, and they do kind of reflect who you are, but not, this is an impossible task you've set yourself, you silly little woman.
Get more tattoos, get them out as much as you can, and enjoy them. So I think...
Tick! I've got so many more tattoos. I've got a whole sleeve of starlings here. I can see since this video I have also got a big tiger on this arm, and I'm really enjoying them. I'm excited for it to get warmer so I can get them out more often, but a huge tick on this one.
Develop a healthy relationship with food, in brackets. You're getting there.
I agree, I was getting there, and I actually feel like I am much closer to being there, to the point where I'm like, actually I'm going to tick this off, I think, for myself. I think, considering where I was, I actually think that I would count this as a health. It's not perfect, no relationship is perfect, but I think I am much more abreast of what I'm comfortable with and what I want to eat and why. And for that reason, I'm giving myself a little tick.
Volunteer regularly.
I did this for a while. I was a Greenpeace volunteer during the pandemic, and I did talks at at schools, but it was all like remote and online. And then after that, I volunteered for just over a year being my local theatre's publicity person, like getting all the newspaper reviews and inviting the press in and doing the press photos and stuff like that. So that's something that I have done, although I haven't found anything that I can sustainably do consistently over many years that fits in with my job and my life. So I'm going to take that off for me for now, because I've done that twice and it's been good. But as circumstances change, what you can give changes as well. And I'm definitely open to doing more of that in the future for deafs.
Find a more permanent place to live where you can build a more lasting community for your 40s.
I've done that. It's okay. It's fine. It's not in London. I'm so sorry. It's not in London. That wasn't possible. But I have done that. I've bought a house. I have settled somewhere, and that's nice. I wouldn't say I have like a big community of people around me. I have some of my family near me, and I'm working on that part of it, like finding your village where you live. But I am there. I think I'm going to tick this one off as well. And I also do know a lot of people around where, you know, I know all the people who work in the post office near me, and I know the people that run the bookshop, and I know the people who I collect vintage parcels off, and like I know the woman who sells jacket potatoes near where I live. So that's all there. That's something that you don't really get in London in the same way, and I'm really glad for that.
Clear out the belongings in your parents' house.
I'm not doing this because they're not forcing me to, and I don't want to. And actually, I think on some level, they like it. So I'm not going to do it.
Treat your head well, let your hair grow, if pos, prevent hair loss.
If pos, prevent hair loss. I still have a bit of thinning on the top of my head from the PCOS, but it's very hard to tell at this point whether it's progressing or it stopped. I feel like it stopped progressing. I haven't got any thicker hair, but I've also definitely stopped dyeing my hair. I found a cut that I think suits my hair texture a lot better and makes it look less flat and thinning. I sleep more, I am less stressed, and I use much less damaging techniques on my hair. So I think this is good. I have a happy, healthy hair care routine. I don't dye it anymore. Good for me. Good for me.
Refocus what you love to do around keeping books alive and keeping the planet alive.
So I'd actually say that like my job is this now, and I try to make almost all of my videos at least mentioning the climate, some of them completely focused on the climate and some of them more like, by the way, the climate is also there. So I feel like I've really done this. And also Half-Assed Human is a book that considers the climate in every single aspect of your life, points out that it's there, and I joke sometimes I'm kind of tricking people into reading about the climate. So I'm going to tick this off for me as well, and I'm really glad that I wrote that down, because I don't think I would have remembered that was so much of a focus if I hadn't really explicitly put it down in writing, which doesn't count as manifesting, but it's close. When you write something down and you think about how you want to do it, you are more likely to actually do it and refocus your life around it. So I'm grateful that I was able to do that, and long may it continue, and I'll be better at it. But I am technically doing it. I'd like to be better at it though.
Build a substantial emergency fund that will give you autonomy and stop you being controlled by anyone.
I've done that, and I think I've calculated, again, living where I live now, my emergency funds need to be a lot less because my outgoings are a lot less. So that has not only become something that I've been able to do, but also like the bar for that has become a lot lower, which is another reason I advocate, if you can, from leaving capital cities. But that's been another video and will be more videos in the future, I'm sure. That's a different rant for a different day.
Okay, so maybe I clickbaited you into this video, who can say, but that's actually 39 points. I don't have a 40th. I've been thinking about it for like a week, and it's almost like I kind of don't want to finish the list for some weird psychological reason.
So I didn't make a 40th goal because I was like, I'm going to leave it open. And then I never did. And now I'm halfway through my 30s and I didn't make a 40th goal. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to make my 40th goal, because it is the thing I've most consistently wanted, is to finish a novel. I have written a poetry collection and a non-fiction book of essays, but I have still never finished or published a novel, and that's something that it really plays on my mind, if I'm being honest, more than anything else. Obviously the themes of it are important to me, but also just the discipline of it. And I've written so many novels that haven't been finished or are so bitty, or just I wouldn't consider them finished, even though they are like hundreds of thousands of words long. That means a lot to me, that I would be able to do that even if it didn't get published or it wasn't very good. And I need to do that. I need to do that soon for little Leena and for elder Leena. I need to do that. So that's my 40th goal. Oh God. The pressure. What did your younger self think they wanted out of life? And is it different now? Have you made 10-year goals like this? I think younger Leena makes a good point where she said, she quoted this quote that was like, you overestimate what you can do in a year and you underestimate what you can do in 10. And particularly now that we know more about the world than little Leena did, it's really important to focus your life on what you really care about and what's genuinely important to you, and not let the other things get in and push those things away, especially if those things are there for the good of everybody and they're things that you think will keep other people safe and make other people happy too. I have a whole chapter on that in Half-Assed Human, so if you want to take a look at that book, it's available in hardback or ebook or audiobook where I read the book, and the last chapter is called What to Whole Ass, like what to pick to focus your life on. So I hope you enjoyed being nosy and going through my list of things that I have and have not achieved. The final count is I've completed 24 on my list. That's more than half. That's not bad. I'm actually going to let myself off a few things as well. I think I'm going to change some of them. So that's good. And I think actually that worked out way better than I thought it would. I thought I would have got through less of them. But obviously subconsciously this list is working its magic on my subconscious brain. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how you feel about goals, long or short, below. And if you want to tip me for these videos to make sure they keep happening and join a community of like-minded people that will 100% egg you on your goals and help you make them possible, you can join the Gumption Club, which is my Patreon group. We chat on Patreon, but we also have a really amazing, very, very active Discord where we're constantly chatting about what we want to do with our lives and with the world. And it's been genuinely giving me a little bit of hope in this absolute hellscape of news right now. So if the links on how to join are below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Frog Snog out.